Hey, what's going on, guys? Nem here. Now, we've had Curse of Osiris for a couple of days now, and I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on the story and the public spaces that we saw in the DLC. Now, first off, we're going to keep this video a little bit on the shorter side. I'm going to try not to talk too much, and there will be spoilers. So if you haven't beat the campaign for Curse of Osiris, there will be spoilers, and I will be showing the boss fight and the end boss fight, so you've been warned. Alright, so let's get started. Story length. The story, it was expected to be short. They did mention that this DLC was going to be about the size of Dark Below meets House of Wolves, and it is. But, the story that it brought, it was really, really good. I loved getting a little bit more insight as to who Osiris is and how he operates and why he's gone. I loved seeing the interactions between Osiris and Sagira as well, which is his little ghost. And it was also very interesting to see the relationship that he has with Ikora. And, you do get a little bit of their past along the lines as you play through the story mode. And it's awesome. It's really, really cool to see, the background of the Vanguard, because there's not a whole lot that we know of them. So any little insight on lore that we can get is always a plus for me. I would love to see more of them in the future. Now, in terms of scale and world design, I thought Mercury and Past Mercury were absolutely beautiful. We definitely need more open areas, especially that of Past Mercury. Those beautiful, beautiful lush landscapes with very vibrant colors. I honestly couldn't help to feel like it was kind of like Destiny meets No Man's Sky, but I would love to see more areas like that in the future, just open plains where you can go and roam around and do your patrols and whatnot. Need that in the future. The actual Mercury space, however, the patrol zone is rather small. It's beautiful, but it's small. So you pretty much have the lighthouse. Right in the middle, you'll have where you do the public event. And then on the other side of the map, or just above that, is where you have the entrance to the Infinite Forest. Now, the Infinite Forest, that's more of a gateway to your destination or your adventure rather than an actual space to go and roam around. However, if Bungie would play their cards right, the Infinite Forest could have a huge usage in the future. After all, it's a Vex simulation. They have infinite possibilities in how, and from a lore standpoint, they could take advantage of that. Revisit previous wars like Twilight Gap, or get more insight on some of the lore characters like Saint 14, Dredge Junior, Rezel. There's just so many characters that we can learn from just by using the Infinite Forest to our advantage. So I really hope this is something that we'll see being used again in the future. Now, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the boss. So Panoptes, the final boss of Curse of Osiris, I thought was a fantastic design, and I would have loved to see him as a raid boss because he's such a cool looking character. This should be the reference point for future bosses in the Destiny universe, like a truly unique design. He wasn't a complete rehash of a giant minotaur or harpy, although you can kind of tell the lower half of his body kind of looks like that of a hydra, but the rest of him, he looks really, really cool. It was something awesome to see, and I really hope that they use this kind of point on to see more bosses designed this way. Another thing that I was really excited to see about was Osiris, an NPC in the actual boss fight. This is something that I've been dying to see since House of Wolves, so please, Bungie, involve more of your amazing NPCs into a story like this in the near future. I will say, however, the fight felt like it was over a little too quickly. The set pieces were great, and it was unfortunate that it ended up super fast. I felt like I was ridiculously overpowered fighting this giant Vex mind. So Again, I kind of hope to see the difficulty, you know, being upped a little bit more. I can understand this if you were like in a fire team and the boss fight was rather quick, but it was a little short-lived. It was amazing though, but short-lived. Overall, I liked the story. I want to see more of these characters, and that's something that when you do a story right, that's something that you want the players to feel, that you want more of the characters that you've introduced. So good job on the story, guys. I really enjoyed it. One thing that I would like to note real quick, and this is something that Dado had mentioned in Twitter. Yeah, it was one of the adventures that you get. I think it's the last adventure, Bug in the System, that it feels like a horde mode. You know, it legitimately feels like a horde mode, and it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, I can definitely see more of this in the future of Destiny 2. So Bungie, take note, that adventure, fun, top tier, make it its own thing. I haven't delved too much into PvP, guys, so I'll have to give my thoughts on that later. On that note, I know that Prometheus Lens is broken as hell. Deej has acknowledged that it shipped with a bug, so we're probably going to learn a little bit more of that today when they release the TWAB. With that being said, that's going to be all for now, Guardians. I hope you enjoy the DLC, and remember to give constructive feedback. We as a community have the power to voice our concerns in a, you know, well-mannered way without sounding like an asshole. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We'll see you guys on the next video.